Alright. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is Harley from the Fran Plane. Today we're going to continue on with learning CSS, and we're going to be styling our web page that we had created. Let's go ahead and cd into our repos, cd into Odin recipes, and let's go ahead and open that. And we need to start adding, okay, there we go. And we have two changes that we didn't make yet. We kind of added something here, and I'll show you. Oh, whoops, didn't want to do that. No, what did I just do? I did not want to do that. Okay. Alright, let's...
When did I purchase... Wait a second.
Oh yeah, and today we have my younger brother joining us. He's just going to be chilling with us in the background today. Alright, so we're going to be reading over the CSS Cascade, or how browsers resolve competing CSS styles. We style our websites using CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets. But what does cascading really mean? The CSS Cascade is one of the most powerful parts of CSS, but it can also be very frustrating if not well understood. Anyone who's worked on a large enough website has complained, why won't the CSS property work? And let's actually, I think my... Hey Gavin, can you check for me if my my music's too loud?
Yeah, let me see.
And we've all been tempted to throw an important to strong-arm things into place. To save ourselves from future angst, let's take a step back and learn this thing for real. The CSS Cascade is the way our browsers resolve competing CSS declarations. Every time we write a CSS declaration or rule, it will enter the CSS Cascade, which will determine whether or not it will end up as a final style. The further down the cascaded declaration falls, the less likely it will end up as the final style. So the further down the cascade declaration falls, the less likely it will end up as a final style. So it needs to be first. If it's last, it ain't coming in. Let's take a look at the different tiers. Oh, you sent me a picture? Yeah, just like that. That's what I was talking about. The butt plug. Okay. Sorry. Every time we write a CSS declaration rule, it will enter the CSS Cascade, which will determine... Okay, right here. Final lot. Importance. The first tier of the cascade looks at the type of rule we're looking at. There are 4... Oh, cool. I like this style thing going on right here. And it even goes along with where we're hiding on.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Oh, it's good?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. That's why I'm ducking myself.
The first tier of the cascade looks at the type of rule we're looking at. There are 4 basic types of rules. Transition. Rules that apply to an active transition take the utmost importance. Important. When we add a strong, or what would we call this? Exclamation point important to the end of our declaration, it jumps to this level of the cascade. Ideally, you reserve this level for Hail Marys, which are needed to override styles in third-party libraries. Animation. Rules that apply to an active animation jump up a level in the cascade. Normal. This is where the bulk of rules live. As you can see, this top tier is mostly reserved to ensure our elements animate properly and to help out desperate developers. Important. Let's look at how this rule plays out. Which of these 2 rules would win? I want to say, since it's declaring it, it would be this one. Rule B wins. Remember that important declarations fall on the second level, while normal declarations fall on the fourth. Okay, so transition take the utmost important, and that by declaring that. Okay, cool. If two rules are tied on one tier of the cascade, the fight goes on to another round, looking for a difference on the next tier, origin. The second tier of the cascade looks at where the rule was defined. There are 3 places where a rule can be defined. Website. This is the only level that you have control over as a web developer. User. Browser. Each browser has its own set of styles, which is why things like buttons have default styles. This is your browser's default button. If you're curious, you can check out Chromium's default set of styles. Funky fact alert, the hierarchy here is actually reverse for important rules, meaning that an important browser default rule wins over an important website rule, whereas a website rule normally wins a browser default. Fight time. Which one of these two rules would win? Okay. Yeah. Remember that website specific. Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't see that up top. So this one would win. Okay. Website would win every time. Specificity. God dang, I hate that word. Gavin, can you say specificity?
Specificity?
Here.
City?
I'm gonna type it in the chat. Ready?
Yeah.
Specificity.
In which chat? Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoops. No. I typed it in the wrong chat.
Where did it go?
I typed it in. I sent it to the wrong person.
You're gonna be like, what the fuck? Sorry. Specificity. Yeah, that's not hard to say.
Specificity. Yeah, it just doesn't sound normal. Okay, there are 5 levels of selectors. The third tier of Cascade looks at the specificity of a rule. Inline styles declared within a style. HTML property are the most specific. Layer. The new kid in town soon will be able to define explicit layers of styles for intentional handling of specificity. Layers win by being defined later, for example. At layers 1, 2, layer 1, body, layer 2. So we define them and we give them properties. Oh, no, I see that. So there's layers. In this example, our body text will be green since layer 2 is defined after layer 1. Unlayered styles will take precedence, though, to help with backwards compatibility. Coming to Chromium 99, Canary, Firefox 97, Nightly, and Safari Tech Preview. Here, okay. When we create a CSS declaration, we can target specific elements using selectors. ID, we can target elements based on their ID using syntax hash and then ID. Class, attribute, pseudo-class, we can target elements based on their class using the syntax .class. This level also includes attribute selectors that target HTML attributes like checked and href. This level also includes pseudo-selectors like hover and first of type. Type pseudo-element, we can target elements based on their type or their tag type using the syntax type. This level also includes pseudo-elements like before and selection. Oh, I didn't even mean to click that. Fun fact alert. The universal selector, the asterisk, and combinators, plus, greater than, tilde, underscore, and absolute have no effect on specificity. More info on MDN. Fight time. Which of these two rules would win? The HTML that has a style equals, so we're going to add style color sandy brown to the paragraph, or okay, so they said inline, I believe, has precedence, right? Yeah, over the others. Remember that inline styles fall on the first level. What type rule falls? While type rules fall on the fifth level, and that's type rules. Gotcha. Okay, now I understand that. Alright. Okay, what about these two rules? Dot paragraph, so class selector, or an ID. Okay, remember that rules with a class selector fall on the fourth level, while rules with an ID selector fall on the third level. One thing to note about levels on this tier is that their number of hits on the highest reach level matter. So P.paragraph. Okay, so that one is a class. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so and that one. Okay, so there's a layer ID. So type. That's a type. This one would come first. Rule A has 2 hits on the 4th level, 1 class and 1 pseudo class, whereas Rule B has 1 hit on the 4th level. Its hit on the lower 5th level doesn't come into play. Okay, so that's like things to remember. If you want things to come first, you gotta be able to call them correctly. Okay. Additionally, on this tier of the Cascade, ties can be broken within this tier. This means if 2 rules have the same number of hits on their highest level, one can win by having a hit on the next level down. Same number of hits on the highest level. So this one would win. It's at the highest level and the next one down. This starts at a lower level and hits up. Rules A and B both have 1 hit on the 3rd level, ID. But rule B additionally has 1 hit on the 4th level, 1 class, which beats rule A hit on the 5th level, 1 tag. Position. And lastly, we descend to the 4th and final tier of the Cascade, which looks at the order that the rules were defined in. Rules that are defined later in linked style sheets or style tags will win, given that everything else in the Cascade is the same. Right, so color. Oh, they're both the same. Rule B wins. And lastly, we descend I'm trying to hold on. Tags will win, given that everything rules that are defined later in linked style sheets or style tags will win, given that everything else in the cascade is the same. I didn't get that last one. I didn't get it. So the fourth and final tier of the cascade, which looks at the order that the rules were defined in. Those are the... Oh, gotcha. B followed after A. This one would win because it was further down. Okay, then that beats my theory. I guess, okay, well, the other stuff explained it. The precedence of importance. That's it. Okay. What else do we got? Changing the font family, CSS specificity from the World Wide Web schools. Goes over how you can calculate the specificity of rules. This page mentions some selectors that we will go over on later lessons, so don't worry about what they are and how to use them right now. And the Mozilla CSS property reference can be used for if a particular CSS property is inherited or not, simply look at the inherited field inside the formal definition selection. Here's an example of the CSS color property. Here's the main difference between external, and inline CSS. Now let's go over these real quick. The main difference is external uses a style sheet and an external file that's linked to the HTML file. Internal uses a script inside of the head. And with the style tags. And then inline would be you write your style property in there inside of the specific tag that you want. Like, for example, a paragraph, and you want to change the font to something different, but you want to do it inline inside of the line of code. You can do it inside of that tag. What is the syntax for class and ID selectors? Syntax for a class is a period, and then the name of that class, and then the ID is a hashtag, and then the name of that ID. How would you apply a single rule to two different selectors? A single rule. Actually, let's see. What if we have two groups of elements that share some of their style declarations? Right, so read, white and black, read, white and black. Both are .read and .unread, or read and .unread selectors share the color white and the background color black. But otherwise have several of their own unique declaration. To cut down on the repetition, we can group these two selectors together as a comma separated list. So we can do .read, .unread, bind their two together, their what characteristics they have, and then declare them, and they're separate with their unique characteristics that they have. So we do it by declaring both of them, but separated by a comma, and then put their properties together. Given an element that has an ID of title and a class of primary, how would you use both attributes for a single rule? So, same thing. Oh, instead of the comma, so we chain it. So .subsection .header. In that example, it would be hash. Where am I at? Jeez. Okay, it would be hash title dot primary, and then give their rule, or what they have, right? What does the Descendant Combinator do? I think that one is a space between. Yeah. So that one would be like saying inside of, like for this example, inside of this div class, any contents that are within this ancestor, we're going to style that. So B and C would be styled because they're within the ancestor. Hopefully that makes sense. B and C would be styled. This one wouldn't, because we're doing a Descendant Combinator. So chaining is one after another. So whatever dot whatever, or hash dot whatever hash whatever dot whatever. But the Descendant Combinator is meant to add a style to something that is nested within something. Between a rule that uses one class selector and a rule that uses 3 type selectors, which rule has a higher specificity? Between a rule that uses one class selector and a rule that uses 3 type selectors, which rule has a higher specificity? The class selector. Class selectors will always be any number of type selectors, and a type selector will always be any number of anything less specific than it. When no declaration has a selector with the higher specificity, a larger amount of single selector would be the smaller amount of the same selector. Let's take a look at a few examples. Rule 1 and Rule 2. Dot subsection, dot main, dot list. In the example above, both rules are using only class selectors, but Rule 2 is more specific because it is using more class selectors, so the color red declaration will take precedence. In this example above, despite Rule 2 having more class selectors than ID selectors, Rule 1 is more specific because ID beats class, in this case color blue. Okay, so the class selector would win. Now we gotta try and style our web page. So I guess let's try it. Let's go ahead and put, one sec, open this up and drop that. Okay, so this is what we have so far. CSS I don't know. Can you list divs in an unordered list? Select that up. Put your UL followed by your special div inside the container. Make your list into a flexible grid of blocks using flexbox, and give your list items a set height. We can. Okay. Is it? Okay, maybe. Oh, no, don't want to do that. Oh. Nope. Dang it. I know there's a way for me to be able to... I've done it before. I can... Oh, nope. Did not mean to do that. Or I can have like multiple clicks. But I guess not. Wait. No? Oh, don't want to do that. God, there has to be a way. I forgot how to do it. Okay, because I know I can do that. Okay, anyway, let's change these to divs. And let's see how this works. Alright, let's save that. Okay, so now these are divs. Now, if we can... align items center. Nope, not what I wanted. Let's see how this works. Okay. That. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so now let's take this out. Right? And let's go ahead and I want to align all of that, but I don't want to align the body. I should have put everything in a div, huh? In its own, like, big box. Okay, let's try that. And let's move, let's call this, class home content, and let's see what we can do about content, right? And let's do this, and let's justify content center. Let's see how this goes. No. Okay, let's align items center, maybe? Nope. Align text align. Okay, see it does the same thing where it does this. Okay, let's not worry about that then. Let's undo everything. Right? Just leave it how it is. Okay. Let's just change some of the... Okay, let's change the background color, right? Let's do it to... What looks pleasant? What looks like a pleasant color? That looks pretty. Save that. Yeah, that's a nice color. Okay. And now... I can just declare that, right? That would work, right? Does. Okay, let's have it like that. Let's do basics. Let's stick to the basics. And I want to change. Let's see. Can I call on? I wonder. Let's try it. I don't know if that'll work. Can I declare that? Color blue. Actually, orange. I just want to know. Will that change anything? No. Okay. So what if we call on the anchor tag? Okay, so let's actually change this into something like that with like a nice hint of like a pretty blue like that. No. Let's see. Let's keep that same opacity, but now let's actually make the color a little bit more noticeable. There we go. It's a different type of color, but you can still see it. And let's change font size to, let's do 26 pixels, right? Cool. So now we can okay. Now I want to be able to add like where it's on top, but or maybe this is like centered. Does this apply to all links? No. I'm assuming I'd have to link the style sheet to each one. Right? Yeah, I'm assuming. Okay, and then instead of it being let's give this one a class of main header, and this one let's give it the same class, and we can use that to our advantage. Main header, right? And we can give them yeah, let's try that. Main header and actually, let's call it small header, right? And we can use these for the other ones too. Kind of. I like content centered. All right. So now we're going to go in here, and we'll come in here and we'll do main header. And let's add a small header. Alright, so for this one we're going to content align items center. Let's see what happens. No. So text align center. There we go. And this is when we should do this. So dot main header and dot small header. I think, yeah, those are going to share characteristics. So instead of this being here, let's actually put this in here, right? And main header is going to have a font size of 32 pixels, and the color let's do right in the small header. Okay, first let's see how this works. Okay, cool. And we can actually probably have those share the same one, right? The only thing difference is that this one actually, and let's change the, let's do it to 38 pixels. Now let's see. 48 pixels? Odin recipes. There we go. And let's give this one a font size of... This one can have a font size of 32. There we go. What if I change it to 50? 50 pixels. Oops. Okay, let's make this one 50 and this one will be 38. Okay. Okay. That won't do nothing for me, but pretty cool. Image size. Let's add a border. Radius. Five pixels. Let's do border color. Let's do gray. kind of give them a little bit more round edge, right? And then justify content controls the alignments of all items in the main axis. Oops. Okay. I feel like this is pretty good. I like the color. It's like a soft color. And then I just need to be able to fix this up a little bit better. I'm sure we can find something. Okay, and then this. I wonder what happens if I do this. I just go like this. Style. No. I thought maybe that would work. Guess not. Okay. What else can we do? Let's go back. Actually, I will be back. I gotta use the restroom. Hold on.